So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the arpeggios. Usually when you play a scale and then you follow it with an arpeggio. So if I play a C major scale, that's the scale, and then I follow it with the arpeggio. So what an arpeggio is, it outlines the major chord of a scale. So basically if I'm playing the C scale, if I play the C scale, the arpeggio is 1, 3, 5, and then back to 1. So you're playing really the first step of the scale, the third step of the scale, the fifth step of the scale, and then back to the first step, or 8. Sometimes we say 1, 3, 5, 8, see? And you play it all together, it makes a chord, it makes a major chord. So that's what the arpeggio is. So it's pretty simple, it's really nothing more than that. For this semester, the arpeggios are going to be played just in 1 octave, just the way you're doing a scale in 1 octave. Scales can be more than 1 octave. Could be 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4 octaves, and the arpeggio can also be 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4, whatever it is. But for this semester, you're going to be just playing 1 octave. The fingering in the right hand for the arpeggio, as you'll see on the syllabus, is 1, 3. In the right hand, RH. The right hand is 1, 2, 3, 5. So, and the notes are C, C, E, G, C. So you're playing C with the thumb, E with the second finger, 2, that's 2, G with the third finger, and then the upper C with the pinky, with the fifth finger. But when you play the arpeggio, you don't want to hold the fingers like this. You want to kind of like move your hand, give yourself some leeway, some freedom. It's okay to move the hand like this, see, instead of just kind of like keeping your hand. That will make it harder to do. Okay, so that's essentially what the arpeggio is on the right hand. On the left hand, you'll notice it's the same notes. It's down here. And also, by the way, when you play scales and arpeggios, they need to be 1 octave apart from each other. In other words, you don't want to play the scales like this with your hands 2 octaves apart. They're always an octave apart. You'll notice the same notes, C, E, G, C, in the left hand, right? And you'll see the fingerings underneath in the C scale. 5, 4, 2, 1. Okay, so that's the fingering. That's the traditional fingering for the left hand. You may find it a little bit uncomfortable, especially the 5 and the 4, since these 2 fingers are kind of weak. The pinky and the 4th finger are kind of weak fingers because they're both attached on one tendon. So that's why they like to move together rather than separately. That's one of the problems with playing any kind of an instrument where you need to move your fingers like that. But nevertheless, the fingering is 1, 4, 2, 5. Try to get used to that, since that is the proper fingering to use. If that is not comfortable, then try 5, 3, 2, 1. Did I say 1, 4, 2, 5? I think I misspoke. But it says 5, 4, 2, 1. But you can try 5, 3, 2, 1. If the 5, 4, 2, 1 feels a little bit uncomfortable. And just a little secret: when I was growing up, that's what I used to play, and nobody really ever corrected me. Nobody ever told me, no, you're doing the wrong finger. It's actually 5, 4, 2, 1. But if you look in any scale book that gives you the fingerings for scales, it will tell you 5, 4, 2, 1. And in actuality, once your fingers are strong enough, it is indeed the correct fingering to do. But at the beginning, it could be a little bit uncomfortable. So if you want to do 5, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1 instead of 5, 4, it's okay. So kind of play around with it and see which one you like better. Ultimately, though, you're going to have to do them together when you play the arpeggio, kind of like this, right? Just do them nice and slow, you know. Just kind of see what fingers you're playing before you play them, and it's probably going to be really awkward. You'll try them practice them one hand at a time. First the right hand, kind of get comfortable with that for a while, and then the left hand, get comfortable with that, and then even as you get comfortable with each hand separately, when you go to put it together, it's still going to seem awkward. It always does. And at first, and this is even with the scales too, you might feel, I'm never going to do this. This is like really strange or really uncomfortable. But just kind of trust your muscle memory and just trust it and give it a try, and you'll see. After a while, they'll kind of like they'll do it. With some of you, it might take a little bit longer than others. Some of you might have already done this before, so you might know what I'm talking about already. But just give it a chance to do that. So on your arpeggios, all of the white notes, have all of the same, the fingerings, essentially. If you're going from white to white, like C, E, right? C to E is 2 white notes. It's usually going to have 5, 4 in the left hand. But if you're playing a D arpeggio, which is D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A, D, then it will have 5, 3. See, there it will have 5, 3, because 5, 4 is kind of a stretch. See, so when you're going from white to black, you'll see 5, 3, and that's correct, right? So the groups of this 5, 3, 2, 1 or 5, 4, 2, 1 are mostly on the white keys. There are other groups, like for instance the flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Those are kind of strange. When you first look at them, you might think, why are they giving me this fingering? Because it's really awkward. So for instance, on the E flat scale, like if I do an E flat scale, you'll see that the first finger is 4. These are the notes for the E flat, arpeggio. E flat, G, B flat, E flat. Those are the notes. So you think, well, can I just do this? 1, 2, 3, 5. Yes, you can do that if you're just playing 1 octave, which in this case you are. But this is in preparation for doing more than 1 octave. Because if you go to the next semester, piano and there beyond, you're going to be doing more than playing just 1 octave. And if you're playing more than 1 octave, then this fingering is not going to serve you well, because then you're going to have to do some weird stuff. So the fingering, that's why the fingering listed there is 4, 1 on the G, 2 on the B flat, and 4 on the E flat. And you might think this is like really weird here, okay? And it's going to feel kind of weird for you. But in actuality, if you're doing 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4 octaves, whatever it is, it's the most practical fingering that you can do. Because of our hand position, that's just the way it is. So if I'm starting here, let's say, okay, it says 4. You can start on 2 if you want to. The reason why it starts on 4 is because if you're doing more than 2 octaves, it's kind of like this: 2, 1. I'm sorry, 4, 1, 2. See how my 4th finger is on E flat? See, it always ends up on E flat. See, so that's why they start on 4. They give you the 4. But if you want to start on the 2 to begin with, you can do that if you want to. Okay. And the left hand is similar. 2, 1, 4, 2. So it's 2, 1, 4, 2. Okay. So the thing about the similarity that you may want to think of when you do some of these flat arpeggios is that the thumbs will be on the white notes. So if I start on 4 here and start on 2 there, then 2s and 4s go together. The 2 in this hand, 4 in this hand. So there, right? Thumb on the G, okay? And now, you see the 2-4 here and 4-2 there? So the 4s and the 2s are kind of like, they're opposite. The 2 is playing here, 4 is playing there. See, so that's for 1 octave, that's how you'll be doing it, kind of like this. Okay? All right, it's, again, it seems weird, but you want to just give it a chance. Do each hand separately, get used to the right hand, play that for a while. Try to get comfortable with the right hand alone, then the left hand alone, and then try to put them together. And again, it will seem kind of awkward, but you'll do it. A flat is kind of like the same fingering, same exact fingering as E flat, and so is D flat. Okay, so those 3 scales are the same. They have the same fingering, so that's that group. And then the only one that's a little different is the B flat scale. In the B flat scale, you're only using 3 fingers in the back on the B flat scale. 3, 2, 1. B flat, D, and F. 3 on B flat, 2 on D, thumb on F, and then back up to the 3rd finger on B flat. And again, why? Because if you're doing multiple octaves, this is the most practical of the fingering. The right hand is like the others, you know, 4, 1, 2, 4. So it's like those other flat keys, D flat, E flat, A flat. Okay, so that's the same. Okay, so just the left hand is kind of awkward. All right, so take a look at those, and don't worry about it being kind of awkward. Just work through it. I'm sure you'll do fine with it. Okay, see you later.